I'm Eleanor Davis. I think I've been a member of Bib and Tucker maybe 3 years, possibly four. I'm a retired nurse. I learned to sew, if not in elementary school, I was probably in middle school, and my grandmother taught me to sew. I'm trying to figure out which way to go with that blog. I guess I'll start with when I got the email asking us to participate and work my way backwards. It was in July of last year. And at the time when I got that email, I was very angry. And I was angry at that moment because this was July. My son is in the Air Force, and he and his family have been overseas for 3 years. And for the first time, they were assigned east of the Mississippi, which Panama City, Florida. My grandkids were within driving distance. But at that point, we had the surge going on and the cases were going up. And all the plans I made to see them when they came out of quarantine from traveling, etc., it was like, logically, you can't do this. So I was angry at the situation, what was going on in the country, all the denial about this virus and what it was doing. So when I got that email and we were asked to think back to how we felt or our experience at the workshop and how we felt that day, excuse me, I didn't realize until then that I had been angry since February. And it was like, wow. It was under the current, it was under the surface. So taking it back to explain the anger, I was angry about the reaction to the surge and I couldn't see my grandkids. All right. The step before that was Black Lives Matter, the killing of George Floyd. So here I am, a mama and a grandmother. And I would have been perfectly fine if my son had not come home because he would have been safer somewhere else. Forgive the emotion in my voice. I didn't expect this. So I'm like, I'm mad because why would I be okay because my son doesn't come home? He'd be safer somewhere else. All right, one more step back. My daughter-in-law is Korean American. The president at the time kept calling this the Chinese virus. Okay, let's be real. In this country, very few people will look at someone of Asian descent and try and figure out what country they come from. So in my mind, my daughter-in-law was now in the crosshairs. And I did not know until we did that quilt in February that Black women, or women, period, had been lynched. I don't know how that escaped me. And then a 12-year-old boy. So I did not make the lectures, the discussion part of her presentation. I was only at the part where we were creating the blocks. And as I was trying to do my block, my mind was, okay, you're trying to get past the anger of such a situation. Let's try to focus your energy there. And somehow, I don't know how I got into the discussion of making the loincloth um, for the great big picture on the quilt. but I felt so strongly that it needed to be muted, not brightly colored fabric, because I would, in my mind, this 12-year-old boy would not want attention called to the fact that he was mutilated as well as killed. And so it was working through the anger that this child had to go through that and try to, in my head, acknowledge this and this young boy and just downplay some of it. And that square was because the emoji, I was angry and I had not bought into things were going to get better. I deliberately did it in the Black nationalist colors. I guess just kind of going back to things in my youth that I won't get all caught up in right now. And I deliberately tried to do the red and the red, black, and green because I wanted the red to look like or represent blood being shed. And that's why it was sewn and drawn that way. So there was a lot of anger. Um, and that's how I was feeling at the time when I got the email. But now I have to say, once I realized I was carrying around that much anger, I said, okay, I got to do something else to ramp this down. You can't be that angry all the time. It's not healthy. So I worked on another project to get the anger out, and it worked. But that's what's behind that square.